What is up, guys? It is your boy GZTV. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are here to continue on our escapade down the world of comedy, where we are going over 30 years into the future from Airplane, which we recently covered, and covering Chef, the 2014 passion project from longtime director, actor, whatever you want to call him, Jon Favreau. And honestly, the movie just made me happy. This is just such a good, feel-good film. It's not some masterpiece. It's not reinventing the wheel or cinema as we know it. It's not some sort of revolutionary, amazing film. It's not packed with huge twists, emotional devastation, crazy story arcs and directions. It's just a genuinely heartfelt, great movie from Mr. Favreau himself. I think sometimes that is enough. I think sometimes with all the negativity in the world and everything people go through, I think it is nice to settle down and watch an amazing movie about food and family. This is one of those films where you can tell every ounce of it came straight from the heart. Favreau wrote it, directed it, starred in it, and honestly, it feels like a guy stepping away from the giant Hollywood machine and making something personal. That is absolutely what you get here. The premise is simple. Let's get into it. So the premise follows Carl Casper, who is a talented chef who's become frustrated with his job, his creative limitations based on what his boss is telling him, his relationship with his ex-wife, and his lack of connection with his son. You know, he's battling a lot of different things. He's like every other grown man as an adult. After a public meltdown with a food critic goes viral, Carl decides to start over by launching a food truck and rediscovering his love for cooking. At the beginning of the movie, it's a lot of like fine dining and cooking all these super meticulous, particular plates, but it turns into comfort food. It turns into a reflection of the regions he travels in, and it's a very simple story, but man, this movie has a lot to say. We're talking about family, passion, you know, the social media era. This came out in 2014, so obviously social media was just kicking off with platforms like Twitter and Vine, which they touched upon here. Criticism in the media, food, movies, you know, obviously I do that, so it's pretty prevalent to me, you know, the creativity, food, relationships, all while remaining incredibly easy to watch. It is just a really fun time. It's nothing spectacular. It is just a realistic film about probably someone's real life. So getting into the good, obviously Carl Casper, the main character, is what we're going to talk about first, because played by Jon Favreau, is an absolutely fantastic protagonist, a very relatable person, talented, flawed, frustrated, just trying his best, as are a lot of people in this world. And again, a lot of people can relate to this. You know, you go to work, you make a living, you come home and you do what you can for your family while balancing all of these different relationships with different people. I think that's what makes him relatable, trying not to disappoint people, trying to be there for everyone. His son, his ex-wife, his co-workers, his customers, even just trying to be there for himself. It all kind of breaks down to that. Everything in his life feels messy at the beginning of the movie, and I really appreciated that. Some people will say this movie doesn't have a lot of hardship and stuff like that, and you have every right to believe that. I mean, it is super feel good. It is one of the more jolly comedy films we have covered. Obviously, like getting the spoofs out of the way, because this is very much a more dramatic and serious piece, but nothing feels exaggerated or overly dramatic or anything like that. It's just a guy trying to figure things out for himself, trying to figure things out for his family and what his future holds, and trying to kind of find his identity. Like, what does he want to do? Everyone's reached that point in their lives. I'm damn near at that point in my life now, even though I am only 23. I love how the movie just treats things. Cooking is so precious and such a unique kind of art form that so many people around the world partake in, and this movie's championing that, really bringing it to the forefront for people that are fans of the major cast that's in this film. We'll get to that in a second. I mean, I think it's great. You watch cooking shows, you go to certain restaurants, you go to food trucks and all the fine dining. The movie reminds you that food isn't just food. This means something. Passion, expression, culture. Carl losing sight of that passion really is the emotional core of the movie, and I think that is great. And just getting into the food sequences, I mean, man, this shit makes you hungry. I don't even eat Cuban food regularly. This movie had me wanting a Cubano immediately. I might even fucking make one soon. The grilled cheese, the pasta, the food truck montages, just all the food. Who doesn't like food? I mean, every ingredient feels important in this movie. Every meal feels personal. It's such a comfort thing. People that cook home-cooked meals and serve food for others even, it is such like a genuine concept. And knowing Favreau actually trained with professional chefs for this role, it makes it even more impressive. It's just really good method acting, and it just shows his passion for it as well. And it is awesome. I love that element. I love bringing food into a film like this. The movie genuinely made me want to learn how to cook better, like get known into food. That's how you know you made a great influence influential film, and I know this isn't critically applauded as one of the best comedies of the 2010s, but it ought to be, because I really enjoy it. I mean, the food sequences are great, and getting into the food that brings everyone together, just getting into the father-son relationship with him and Percy. It's what elevates the movie, because Percy is such a good, naive kid. He's 10 years old. He's helping out with the social media in the truck and learning how to cook at this age. And Jon Favreau obviously kind of doubts himself at times, but the fact that you have this kid that is so ready for this stuff. Watching Carl slowly reconnect with his son, I think that is an absolutely beautiful part of the movie. The little 1-second videos they make together, it really kind of gets you emotional. When he opens up that email and he plays the video, it's like, damn, man, like they really had that time. They really did that with each other and had that bonding time over that summer. And it reminds you a lot of growing up like with your own father. It's nothing huge, like you don't have to go over the top with stuff. It's just spending time together. And I'll never be more thankful for anything else in this world than my dad. I mean, seriously. And this movie really shows that. And I think that's what makes it work. The relationship feels real. It feels like any average relationship between a father and a son. It's just constantly spending time with each other, teaching each other things and benefiting off of it. You know, the scene where Carl tells Percy the summer's ending and they'll have to go back to normal, it hits really hard. And then you know neither of them want to end, and that's absolutely not the way the movie should end. And man, it's great. And also, I mean, the cast is incredible. Sofia Vergera, Scarlett Johannsen's in this movie, Robert Downey Jr., Dustin Hoffman, John Leguizamo. You see all the names up on the poster even though it's kind of blurry. They all show up here and it never feels distracting. It never feels like they're going for this Hollywood hit. Everybody serves a purpose. I think Martin is an awesome character as a side character. I mean, John Leguizamo, however you say his name, brings so much energy and loyalty. Favreau somehow having both Sofia Vergera and Scarlett Johansson interested in him, that is pretty fucking funny. Like, how the hell would this guy pull two of the hottest women in Hollywood, especially at that time? And also just like the social media angle, how much this movie touches upon social media, I think is amazing. I loved how prevalent that was at the time and how appropriate that was to include in the movie. You have Vine and Twitter. I mean, it's just the early internet era. It's like the pre-TikTok. It's before Instagram takes off, and I think that's so cool. I really missed that time where there was a lot more innocence out there, especially for people like me who grew up during that time. Like, I was about 11 years old when this movie came out, and Vine was huge. More positive, everything was less manufactured, people are less fake and fabricated out there, and the movie does a great job showing how quickly one viral moment can completely change your life, and that happened here. As someone who reviews movies myself, I found the critic storyline fascinating as well, just kind of tying that into the social media angle. Carl isn't really fighting the critic, he's fighting criticism itself. He's fighting creative stagnation and the feeling of becoming comfortable with what he wants to do in his life. And I think that's really smart that the movie touches upon that in the way that it does. And obviously I won't have as much to say about in the other two sections because I'm overtly positive on this movie. It is awesome. So let's keep going. Getting into the back, there really isn't much I outright disliked. There's really nothing bad about this movie. I mean, how can you sit there and criticize a movie that makes you feel so good? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. My biggest issue might be the ending. I do think the way the movie ended was kind of strange. It's not a bad way to end. I think it's actually the most appropriate way they could have took this, but it's abrupt. Like, I love that Carl succeeds and he kind of has this full circle moment with this critic who backs his business and gives him this kind of storefront, restaurant, whatever spot. I love that he reconnects with Percy and their relationship seems to be fully on the up and up and pretty much good for good now. I love that things work out with Inez and they end up getting married, although it is kind of unrealistic. But once the movie gets there, it kind of just ends. Once that is reached, the movie is over. And maybe that's the whole point. Maybe that's what Jon Favreau wanted out of this. You find yourself asking, what happened to all the other characters? What happened to the people who supported him that they didn't include in the end? What happened to the people that doubted him that they didn't include in the end? The boss, played by Dustin Hoffman. The restaurant staff. The one guy played by the dude from The Watcher, I can't remember his name. He's in this fucking movie. What happened to him? Wow, that's a great actor, by the way. What happened to the waitress he was seeing? You know, what happened to Scarlett Johansson? Was she happy for him? I mean, obviously she wasn't bitter. She was supporting him every step of the way, but how does everyone else feel about all this? Like, can these people all kind of reunite together? I think that would have been really good for the movie, and it just didn't happen. The movie doesn't really care about tying up those loose ends, and that's fine. I mean, overall, this movie isn't here to be some spectacularly made film, even though it really was made for love, and it seems like it comes from a genuine place. And while it doesn't ruin anything, it does make the ending feel a little rushed. It does seem like they just end the movie and they play the credits over a Cuban band playing with Inez's father. I think that's cool. I mean, it's a cool full circle moment and it creates a lot of joy. I mean, the Cuban score as well throughout the movie creates a lot of joy. But there you go. Getting into the okay, I do have to talk about people criticizing this movie for being too positive. I think that is just such a dumb outlook on the movie, and it's just such a dumb outlook to kind of take on life. Oh, it's too happy. There's no conflict. Like, are you fucking serious? I completely disagree with that sentiment. Not every movie needs tragic deaths, devastating endings, some sort of villain fucking cackling in his lair, some serial killer or whatever, a slasher, a monster, a demon, whatever you want to call it, whatever kind of threat you would want to have in a movie. It's okay to watch good people succeed, and obviously the movie is kind of unrealistic in its plot armor and how things go so well, and I do wonder if Jon Favreau kind of based this movie on someone else's life, because it does seem quite genuine in that aspect. Well, the critic comes around, the family heals, the business works, the son and father reconnect. I find that refreshing once in a while to get away from, again, the negative things in life and watch a movie like this where things just go right, people just prosper. People that are passionate about something prosper. They constantly consume negativity. I mean, literally go on Twitter now, ironically enough, that this movie touches upon that. Movies like this are important. Again, I say this about a lot of comedies because this is the type of thing that a lot of comedies evoke. After you watch a very negative thing, after you watch a horror movie or something, and you're freaked out and you're ready to have nightmares, you need something else to turn on. Like back in the day, it was SpongeBob for me. This could be a movie for me now. Like seriously, life isn't always this easy. I understand that, but maybe if more people approached life with Carl's passion and positivity and really tried, things would be a little better, and that's kind of the message you take from it. And the comedy obviously is a little mixed. It's not laugh out loud. It's not as good as, say, a 21 Jump Street or an Anchorman or an Airplane, some really funny movies that we covered recently. The humor is just much more natural and character driven. They're not trying to be funny. It's really just like, that's how these people are, so fucking deal with it. There are some pretty funny scenes. I do think the cornstarch on the nuts was pretty fucking funny. People did used to do that. It's hilarious. And Robert Downey Jr.'s character Marvin, he's an absolute disaster. And the whole triangulation with the love going on between those three throughout the movie is kind of a mess, and that kind of adds some comedy. The man cannot focus on a single conversation. I still don't know if he was supposed to have ADHD. I don't know what the hell was going on with RDJ. Quite an interesting role for him to take in this movie, but every scene with him was entertaining, and I just think it's a good enough movie. I think it's just a feel good enough movie to be like, hey, it doesn't need to be laugh out loud, rolling on the floor funny. It already provides a lot of things on different fronts. So getting into the review, I think Chef is one of those movies that reminds you why movies are special in the first place. Like, what do we go to movies for? It's not flashy, it's not groundbreaking, it's just an honest movie. It's just a very genuine moment. It's just a very genuine series of events that happens to a man that a lot of people could relate to. It feels like Jon Favreau putting a piece of himself on screen. The characters are lovable, the father-son relationship is beautiful, the road trip is fun, the social media commentary still works to this day especially, and the whole movie just radiates positivity. It's just such a good time. It's the kind of movie you throw on after a rough day. You're not dying to like analyze it and watch it like, oh, look at the lighting there, look at the techniques. It just makes you feel good. And sometimes that's all a movie needs to do. We don't have to take things so serious. I know I'm a critic and I have to get on here and comment on the cinematography and all the techniques and shit, but it's just a heartfelt, passionate, genuinely feel-good movie that understands food, family, creativity, and happiness, and just passion for a craft better than most films ever attempt to. Not quite an all-time masterpiece, but absolutely one of the most sincere and enjoyable comfort movies of the 2010s. I'm giving it an 8.3 out of 10. I think that's a fair score. We've been watching so many really good comedies recently. I know it seems like I'm kind of front-running, giving movies very high scores just because I don't want to be a dick about it, but trust me, there's been some movies that I'm not a big fan of. We talked about We Bury the Dead. Just wasn't that big of a fan of that, and it didn't really do much for me. This movie, though, certainly does. I don't know if it's all that rewatchable, but it is a really, really good movie to me. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Make sure you go follow the social medias. I'm going to try to get on my grind. I'm going to be making this video at the time that the Western Conference Finals is happening, so I'll kind of do that in between commercial breaks and stuff. But New Music Friday is going to continue up. We're doing all sorts of stuff, baby. Let's go.